Hello.
No.
I guess we're a minute early.
Better earlier than late, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. We're finished. I got it to now. We kind of enjoyed the guy. It was kind
I
of
know,
weird.
hit nice stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a
right.
little out there, but they're good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was for 8 o'clock, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's what he said. Yeah.
So
I
did
had to check
the insurance company fix everything in your house?
Baruch Hashem, but it took
They
long
did.
enough.
Wow.
Yeah, they would have. It cost them a lot more than they should have because they fought me on everything, and I finally turned it over to a public adjuster, and then they took so long to do it that they had 5 different insurance guys come. One was sick, and one quit, and then this that. Finally, we got the 5th one. The public adjuster got, but it took them almost 2 years. It should have been done much faster. But they paid the insurance, they paid my living expenses for a long time. If they would have started out right at the beginning, would have settled it. I paid insurance for 44 years, never made a claim. So, so I didn't feel so bad.
I don't understand. It's like, they want your business. They, with this, they brag, oh, we do this, we do that. And then you put a claim in, they don't know who you are. No, I never saw you before. It's horrible.
That's right. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
How's everybody?
Wonderful. Baruch Hashem.
Good.
I'm gonna miss the rabbi shir tonight. I'm a little under the weather and don't want to get anyone too sick.
Yeah, I'm in the desert. I'm also gonna miss it.
Oh, I have a tennis tournament tomorrow in the desert. Friday in the desert.
Oh, you're playing?
I'm playing. I have to refer you. Now that you might have extra time on your hands, Harold,
Yeah, what are you gonna refer me to?
I play with a guy named Mauro for $130 an hour. And he's great. He's Italiano, and it's
How much does he pay you? How much does he pay you an hour?
I wish. Anyway, he's great. If you want to play with someone, whether it's a lesson or you're playing, it's just great.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that, but I'm not that good. So,
Well, maybe I'll charge you more. I don't know.
Does Mauro have a grandfather?
Just make sure he doesn't get time alone with Magda, okay? You can't trust
he's
those
one of those
Italianos.
guys.
And he also sells Italian clothing. So he's always tried to Ken, you need a custom suit. I'm like, no, I don't. You need a leather jacket, Ken. I'm like, I have a leather jacket. It's from when I was 19.
Yeah.
You'd love him. So anyway, if you ever want, tell me.
Okay, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Seder. When you have time available.
New Perek,
Yes.
Chaf Vav, Amid Aleph. B'shloisha prokim b'shana kohanim noisim es kapeim arba pamim b'yom. There are 3 times in the year where the kohanim will duchen 4 times a day. B'shachris, b'musaf, b'mincha, u'v'ne'ila sha'arim. B'taniyos, when they fast for rain, because they add a ne'ila. B'mamadois, we will explain what that is. V'yom HaKippurim, where there's also ne'ila. Now, Elohein mamadois. The Korban Toda was commanded to Bnei Israel. How could it be called the Korban of the Bnei Israel if there's no Bnei Israel there? So the early Nevi'im established, it says, Rashi says Shmuel and David, that they divided the Kohanic families into 24 families. Each family would serve for 1 week, twice a year, 24 weeks apart. So basically 48 weeks would be covered. In the remaining 4 weeks are the various yontifs and things like that. Each Mishmar had a group of Israelites as well as Levim attached to them. Some lived in Yerushalayim, some lived wherever they lived. Higiyaz man Mishmar la'alois. When that Kohanic family would go up to Yerushalayim, Kohanim and Levim oilim Yerushalayim. Kohanim and the Levim of that Mishmar would go up. The Yisrael Shabois Mishmar Miskansim Lareim. Some of the Israelim who lived in Yerushalayim would be there, in Yerushalayim, the base of Mikdash. Other Yisraelim who were part of that Maimed would gather in the city that they lived in, the Koirin b'Maisa Bereshis. And there was a Kriyas HaTorah, we'll see in Maisa Bereshis. The Yisraelim in that Maimed would fast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They would not fast Friday, and they covered Shabbos. Give a sign that they shouldn't go from menucha and oineg of Shabbos to Yigi and Taanis afterwards, which could lead to death. So what did they lame? Vayom Arishon, Bereshis, and Vihi Rakia. Basheni Yihi Rakia v'Yikavu Amayim. Bashlishi Yikavu Amayim v'Hi Mo'eres. Berevi Yihi Mo'eres v'Yishritzu Amayim. These are all the various parshios in the first parak of Sefer Bereshis. B'chamishi Yishritzu Amayim v'Soitzei Haaretz. B'shishi Toitzei Haaretz v'Yichul Shamayim. Parsha Gedoyla, which is a parsha of 6 psukim, Koirin Oisa B'Shnayim. You'd have 2 aliyahs because you can't have an aliyah less than 3 psukim. Haktan, anything less than 6, but Yochid, you'd only call 1 aliyah. B'Shachris b'Musaf of Mincha, Nichnosin v'Korin al PM keKorin Nishma. Shachris, Musaf of Mincha, they would go and read this parsha not from the Torah, but they would do it by heart, like you can read Kriya Shema by heart. Erev Shabbos b'Mincha, lo hayu nichnosim. They wouldn't go to the shul because of Kriya B'Tzibur and they covered a Shabbos. Kol Yom sheyesh bo Halel, like Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, Yontif. So ein Maimid b'Shachris. There was no Maimid Kriya in Shachris. Any day that also had a Korban Musaf, like Rosh Chodesh, ein b'Ne'ilah. You would not do a Kriya b'Ne'ilah. Korban Eitzim, we'll explain what the Korban Eitzim was. These were Yomim Toivim, based on days that you were allowed to bring the Eitzim for the Maracha. So, Ein B'Mincha. There would be no Kriya B'Mincha. This is the Rabbi Kiva. Armla Ben Azai, Kachaya Rabbi Yeshua Shoyne, Korban Musaf Ein B'Mincha. If there's a Korban Mincha that day, like it's Rosh Chodesh or Chol HaMoed or Yontif, Ein B'Mincha. There's no Kriya Mincha. On the day of Korban Eitzim, there's no Kriya Ein B'Ne'ilah. Chazer Rabbi Kiva liyoshane ke Ben Azai. And Rabbi Kiva changed his opinion like Ben Azai. What are this Korban Eitzim? Ma Natzei Kohanim ve'Ha'am Tisha. There were 9 days, which was the days of Korban Eitzim, which were holidays for certain families, that family was allowed to donate the wood for the Mizbeach. Be'echad b'Nisan b'nei Orach ben Yehuda. Be'esrim b'Tamuz b'nei David ben Yehuda. Be'chamisha ba'av, tu ba'av b'nei Parosh ben Yehuda. Be'shiva bo b'nei Yonadav ben Recha. Ba'asara bo b'nei Sna ben Binyamin. Be'chamisha asar bo b'nei Zatua ben Yehuda. And the Tu B'Av was Zatu ben Yehuda. The Iboim Kohanim Leviyim v'chol mi shevto b'shivto. Kohanim and Leviyim would also participate, and anyone who didn't know exactly which shevet they were part of. Uvnei goinvei Eli uvnei koitze ktzios. Also, the bnei goinvei, the bnei koitze ktzios were on that same day. Tu B'Av. Be'esrim boy, 20th of Av, b'nei Pachas Moya ben Yehuda. Be'esrim be'elul b'nei Adin ben Yehuda. Be'echad b'tevis shavu b'nei parashniya. That family got to do it twice.
How could Yehuda have a kid named Moab?
Where do you see that?
Of Pachas Moab?
Pachas Moab.
The family of Pachas Moab. I mean, what kind of name is that?
What kind of
They're
name?
like enemies of the Jewish people.
Stylers on names.
Well, Pachas Moab is someone maybe who depreciated Moab. Maybe he was a hero who conquered Moab.
Right.
Okay.
Be'echad b'tevis la'yabo maimed, which was Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah, Shaya bo halal v'korban musaf v'korban eitzim. It was like a triple whammy. There was no maimed at all. So they didn't have laning because we already said if there was a korban musaf, you didn't do b'mincha. If there was no korban eitzim, you did b'neila. If there's no halal, there's no maimed b'shachar. So it was a triple whammy on that day. They didn't do it on any of the tefillos. Now, this is the final Mishnah of Masechta Taanis. So it concludes, Chamisha Dvarim Irus Avoseinu B'Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. There were 5 events that happened on the 17th of Tammuz. And V'Chamisha B'Tisha B'Av, and 5 events happened on Tisha B'Av. B'Shiva Asar B'Tammuz Nishtabru Aluchos. The Luchos were broken by Moshe. When he came down Har Sinai, and he saw that they were worshiping the eagle. Ubatel Atomi. On that day, there was a gzeira made by the Malchus, the Roman Malchus, not to be makar of the Talmid anymore. V'huv kaha'ir. On that day, when Nebuchadnezzar laid siege to Yerushalayim, the walls crumbled and they entered into the city. It took them 3 weeks to get to Har HaBayis and burn the Beis HaMikdash. Saraf apostomus es ha-Torah. Apostomus burnt the Torah publicly. We'll go through the details of this in the Gemara. Vehemit Tzelem behechal. Menashe Hamelech placed a idol into the Heichal Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. B'Tisha B'Av Nigzar L'Vosenu Shelo Yikansu L'Oretz. When the Meraglim came back in the Midbar, and the Bnei Israel cried, so it was Tisha B'Av when it was Goyzer that they had to wander in the desert for 40 years, and that they all died. The Charav HaBayis B'Rishon V'Shniya. The first and second Beis HaMikdash were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. V'nilkasa Beisar. Beisar in the revolt of the Bar Kochva revolt. So Beisar was destroyed. V'nechrashai Ir. That the temple was destroyed by the Romans 70 CE. But they left the Jewish people. They didn't destroy Yerushalayim completely, etc. In 135 CE, when Rabbi Kiva and Bar Kochva did another revolt against the Romans, so then they plowed under the city of Yerushalayim, changed the name to Aelia Capitolania, and now there were no Jews left in Yerushalayim. Mishenichlas Av, because of Tisha B'Av, when Rosh Chodesh Av comes, Mematin B'Simcha. The Gemara will tell us what that means and what halachas stem from there. Shabbos Shechal Tisha B'Av Lios B'Soicha. From Motzei Shabbos, let's say Tisha B'Av is Tuesday or Thursday. So starting already from Motzei Shabbos is called Shavua Shechal Bo, Osir Milisaper Milchabes. We don't take a haircut, we don't wash our clothes. So of course, Ashkenazim, we do that for Rosh Chodesh. The Sfardim only do it from Shabbos Shechal Bo, Motzei Shabbos Shechal Bo. Uvechamishi mutar mipnei koved haShabbos. On Thursday, you can take a haircut and launder because of koved Shabbos. Erev Tisha B'Av lo yochel adam shnei tavshilin. Erev Tisha B'Av is, we're talking about by the Yisudis Hamafsekes. You shouldn't eat two meals together like basar v'dagim or basar u'beitzim. Lo yochel basar v'lo yishteh yayin. And you shouldn't eat meat, you shouldn't drink wine. This is Erev Tisha B'Av. We already stopped doing that from Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh Yishaneh. He doesn't give you, he just says you should change from what you normally eat. You should memayit. Rabbi Yehuda Mechai b'kfiyas amita. Rabbi Yehuda said that you have to turn your bed upside down, like when you're in Avel. However, lo haydu lo chachan, the chachan didn't agree. Amar shregali lo hayu yamim tov Yisrael ke chamisha asr ba'av Yom Kippurim. No greater Yomim Tovim than Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. Shebehen b'nois Yerushalayim yoitzes b'chlei lavan she'ulim. On both of those days, the Jewish girls would go out and dance, and in a circle. They would borrow clothing that each one, even the wealthy wealthy girls would borrow from the, so nobody would be embarrassed. Shlolavaisus mishein kol hakelim tu'unin tvila. Before they wear them, they had to go to the kelim, the garments had to be toivilled. Because we don't know, maybe one was a nida, maybe they were not nida. They would go out in the vineyard and make circles. What would they say? Bachur. They would, this like Sadie Hawkins Day, they would have the boys chase after the girls. And the girls would say to the boys, Sana einecha re'ei mata barelach. Look and choose, but be careful what you choose. Al titen einecha banoi. Don't just look for beauty. Ten einecha b'mishpacha. Look for yichus. Sheker achein ve'hav la yofi. Beauty is fleeting or deceitful. Isha yiras Hashem yisisalo. Look for an Isha who's a yiras Hashem. The oimer tnu lami priyadeha v'alalua b'shari maseha. This is the end of Eishes Chayim. Now, what do these psukim have to do? V'cheinu oimer, a pasuk in Shir Hashirim. Se'ena re'ena b'nos Tzion b'melech Shlomo ba'atara she'yitru lo imo b'yom chasunos v'yom simchas lipo. What does that mean? B'yom chasunos ze matan Torah. B'yom simchas lipo ze binyan beis hamikdash yibana b'meir yameinu. So the Gemara will go into what are these psukim all about. So b'shloisha prokim b'shana kohanim noisim eskapeihem, that 3 times a year the kohanim duchen multiple times. Tanios u'mamodis mi'ikum musaf. So first of all, we don't have a musaf on a taanis for Geshem or during the mamodos. So the Gemara says chasur mechzer v'achik tani. There's some words missing in the Mishnah. B'shloisha prokim kohanim noisim eskapeihem. Kol zman shemispalalim. 3 times in a year, the kohanim duchen every time they daven. Yesh men arba pamim b'yom. On some of the days, like Yom Kippur, you'll have Shachris, Musaf, Minchun, Nil Shasharim. The Eluain Shlosha Prokim, these are in general are the 3 times, Taniyos, Mamadas, Yom Kippur. Anradach, Yuzu, Divrei Meir. Avach, Chavim, Oim, Shachris, Musaf, Yesh Ben Nesis Kapayim. Minchun, Elain Ben Nesis Kapayim. Only Shachris and Musaf, but not Minchun, Ela, say the Chacham. Man chachamim Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya Shachris u'Musaf minchun ne'ila kulan yesh b'hem nesis kapayim di Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir holds all of the tefillos up to 4 tefillos a day can have duchening. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Shachris u'Musaf yesh b'hem nesis kapayim minchun ne'ila ein b'hem nesis kapayim. Then there's a third sheet that Rabbi Yossi Omer ne'ila yesh b'hem nesis kapayim mincha ein b'hem nesis kapayim. Micah Miflagi, what's this 3-way machlokas? Rameir Sarah Kol Yom, a time of my Lord Parshi Kani Yadai B'Minchasa. How come on every day the Kohanim don't duchen mincha mishum shichrus, because people eat lunch, they can drink wine and beer, they can get drunk. So you can't make the bracha drunk. Now, Ha'idna says Rav Meir, now like a shichrus, today we don't have wine that can make you so shikr. And not only that, but Taanis of Mamadlis, where you're fasting, there's no shichrus. So therefore, you don't have to worry about it. So you can duchen during mincha. Rav Yehuda Sarah Shachrus and Musaf to call Yom Alo Shchiach Shichrus. Shachrus and Musaf, the Kohanim haven't eaten anything yet, so they're not drunk. So Lo Yigaz Rabbanan Mincha Neila Chol Yom Shchiach Shichrus. Since on a daily basis people would drink at lunch, and at these times they could get drunk. So even on a day like a Taanis Umamodos where they're not eating, Gazu Rabbanan, there's a gzeira. Rabbi Yossi said, "Mincha di'isa b'chol yoyma gazu Rabbanan." I understand why the Chacham made a gzeira for mincha on the Taanis and the Mamodos, because there's mincha every day. Neila, the less b'chol Neila, we don't have tefillas Neila every day. It's only a few times a year. So there, loy gazu Rabbanan. It's a davar shelo shchiach. Amar v'damar Rav Alochik Rab Meir, that we have duchening in all tefillas. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Nagu Am Karab Meir. It's not the halacha, but Nagu. V'Rava Amar Minag Karab Meir. Now, Mandar Malach Karab Meir Darshin in Labapirka. You can darshan it publicly. Mandar Minig Midrash LeDarshin. We don't darshan it, but if somebody comes to ask us, Uri Murinina, we give them the answer. Somebody who comes to ask, we give him the psak. Mandam or noagu, uri lomer, we don't even give him the psak. The yavid of it. If he does, he does. V'lo madrinan, we don't make him, we don't change him. Now, Rav Nachman Aloch Rav Yosi, who said that Neila gets duchening but not mincha. V'aloch Rav Yosi. Va'idna, my time in Parshi Kohanim Yadabi Minchasa to Tanisa. Our Kohanim we do say Elokeinu Elokeinu Barcheinu Barvrocha on Mincha and Taanis. Why? Kivin the B'Sobach L'Shkias Achamako Parshi Kitfilas Nila Damya. Since we daven Mincha by a fast, usually close to nightfall, so it's like Tfilas Nila. And that's how we paskin. Mincha of Taanis, where there's no Nila, we do duchen during Mincha. In Eretz Yisrael, or here we say, Barcheinu Bavrocha. Now, we know you can't do the avoda when you're drunk, but where is the connection between duchening and being drunk? Right. Shikar also receives kapayim and non. How do you know this? In Parshas Naso, the Birchas Kohanim Varechacha is right next to the Parshas of Nazir. Loimar. Ma Nazir Osir B'Yayin Av Kohen Mavarech Osir B'Yayin. So it's a hekesh. Maslif Lavud Rab Zeira Varmi Lor Sheh Bar Zavda. Ima Nazir Osir B'Chartzon Av Kohen Mavarech Osir B'Chartzon. Now, a Nazir cannot eat even grape products, even things that don't make him drunk. Are you going to tell me a kohen can't duchen if he ate grapes? That's not so. So Amar Yitzchak Amar Kol L'Shar So. The Torah makes a connection to Sherus, which is doing the avodah, and mentioning his name, Yivarechacha. You can eat grapes as a kohen doing the avodah. That doesn't prevent you from doing the avodah. Av kohen mevarech muter b'chartzon. Okay. Okay, tomorrow we'll learn at 7:30.
So Cohen allowed to drink something that's an imitation grapes? I mean, a Cohen obviously to get drunk can't drunk to duchen, but a Nazir, if it's not related to so that in that regard it's more, would be more chomer on a Cohen than a Nazir.
No, a Nazir cannot eat grapes. A Kohen
I know, but a Nazir can have, let's say, can he drink beer Is that not related? Can a Nazir drink beer? Can alcohol? And then or is it? And then, but a coin can't obviously can't become drunk. But
A
the
coin
Nazir,
can't drink any alcoholic beverage.
I know, but a Nazir.
And
if
a
it's not
Nazir
nothing,
can't eat grape products.
no, but how about beer? Beer is not related to grape products, and he can become drunk on that. Beer.
Not related, yeah, but there's the Isser is not necessarily related to drunkenness. The Isser is related to grapes.
So in that regard, it's more chomer for a coin because he can't under any circumstances.
Different lav. One is a lav of
yeah.
citrus.
Okay.
One is a lav of grape products, not just yayin, but chartzen.
Right.
It says chartzen. Chartzen refers to grape products like even the
Seeds.
branches and things like that.
Right.
Grape jelly.
The grape jelly. A Nazir would not be able to eat that.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
Shkoyach.
7:30.
Out drinking, Harold. You gotta watch it.
Okay, better not. Yeah, no drinks.
Things.
Okay.